Shopify already calculates a customer's shipping options for you, using shipping profiles and carrier rates. What it doesn't do automatically is decide that one of those options should say something different, disappear entirely, or move to the top of the list. That decision is a function specifically, a delivery customization function. Today we build a real one, straight from Shopify's own current tutorial, the real scaffold command, the real input query, the real Rust logic, and the real mutation that makes it live at checkout. Welcome back to Shopify Development Deep Dive. A quick note before we start, straight from Shopify's own documentation, this function target doesn't invent a new shipping price out of thin air. It takes the delivery options Shopify has already calculated and lets your code hide some, rename some, or reorder them. That's precisely what most real shipping rate customization requests actually need: messaging around weather delays, hiding express shipping for ineligible orders, promoting local pickup. Today's build is the real delivery customization function from Shopify's current developer tutorial, still live on shopify.dev today. Here's what you'll see, end to end. A delivery customization function, scaffolded by the real Shopify CLI generate command with the delivery customization template. A real input query that pulls back each cart's delivery groups their shipping address and the delivery options already calculated for them. Real Rust logic that checks a province code and renames matching delivery options with an appended message. A live delivery customization record, created with a GraphQL mutation and pointed at your function using its stable handle. And finally, a local replay of a real function execution, Shopify's own way to debug this without triggering a fresh checkout every time. 5 stages. First, Shopify itself calculates the base delivery options shipping profiles, carrier calculated rates. None of that is your function's job. Second, scaffolding and configuration. The CLI generates the extension, and its TOML file assigns it a stable handle you'll reuse later. Third, the input query runs, fetching exactly this cart's delivery address and its already calculated delivery options. Fourth, your Rust code runs against that typed input and decides for each option: does it get renamed, hidden, or moved, or does it pass through untouched? And fifth, none of that logic does anything until a real delivery customization record exists in the store, created by mutation and pointed at your function by handle. A short list before we start. You'll need a Shopify app, already installed on a development store, built with Shopify CLI. Same setup earlier episodes have used. Your function needs API version 2025-07 or higher. This specific target simply didn't exist on older versions, so that's a hard floor, not a suggestion. You'll need Rust installed, plus the WASM32 unknown compilation target Rust upadds. And if you're on Windows specifically, Shopify's own docs call out that Rust needs the Microsoft C++ build tools, with the desktop development with C++ workload selected during install. The real command, run from your app's own root directory. Shopify app, generate extension, template set to delivery _customization, name set to delivery customization. The CLI then asks which language Rust, JavaScript, TypeScript, or raw WASM are all listed, and Shopify's own docs default to recommending Rust as the most performant choice within the platform's execution limits. We pick Rust, same as the discount function 2 episodes back, and the CLI generates a complete starter project around it. This is the real shape of the generated configuration. The name is the human-readable label. The handle is what matters for everything that comes after it. It's a stable identifier that survives across environments, and starting with API version 2025-10, it's literally all a mutation needs to find your function. No separate ID lookup, no querying the functions list first. That one line is why the mutation later in this episode can be so short. This is the real input query, and notice how narrow it is. Delivery groups, and for each one, the delivery address's province code, plus every delivery option's handle and title. That's the entire universe your Rust code gets to see. No pricing internals, no carrier account details, nothing about the customer beyond the one address field this function actually needs. Shopify runs this before your code executes, and the result becomes your function's typed input parameter. The real top of the file. Same pattern as the discount function 2 episodes ago. 3 use statements pulling in the generated schema, the Shopify function prelude, and its result type, then the Shopify function attribute macro sitting directly above the entry point. The target this time is cart.deliveryoptions.transform.run, reflected in the cart delivery options transform run result return type. The message constant right underneath is the real one from Shopify's tutorial, a weather delay notice, appended to matching options rather than replacing their title outright. This is the real logic, condensed to fit the screen but unedited in substance. It iterates every delivery group, checks whether that group's address has a province code, and compares it against NC North Carolina, in Shopify's own example, easily swapped for whatever region actually matters to you. If it matches, every delivery option in that group gets wrapped in a rename operation, its handle preserved exactly and its title extended with the weather message. If it doesn't match, that group contributes nothing, filter map returns none, flatten drops it, and that option passes through completely untouched. 2 real steps to get this in front of a real checkout. Shopify app dev, run from the app's root directory, starts a local server, rebuilds your function automatically whenever a watched file changes, and prints a preview URL you install on your development store. And right there in that same terminal, pressing the G key opens GraphQL directly, Shopify's own in-browser GraphQL Explorer, already authenticated against your dev store, which is exactly where the next mutation gets run. This is the real mutation, run in GraphQL on API version 2025-10 or later. Delivery customization create takes the same function handle declared back in step 2, a title merchants would see in their admin, and an enabled flag. On success it returns the new customization's ID, any problems come back as user errors, and Shopify's own docs specifically flag a could not find function error as a sign to check that app dev is still running and that the handle is typed correctly. Run this once successfully, and a real store now renames matching delivery options at checkout. Once it's live, testing means checking out with a North Carolina address and confirming the message actually appears. Shopify's tutorial walks through exactly that in the admin's shipping and delivery settings. And for anything that doesn't behave as expected, Shopify App Function Replay is the real debugging tool. It lists actual past executions your dev store triggered, lets you rerun any one of them entirely locally against the exact input Shopify captured, and you quit out with a single key press when you're done. A few real limits worth remembering. This function target reshapes delivery options. Shopify has already priced it, genuinely cannot invent a brand new shipping cost from nothing. That's the carrier service API's job, a different system entirely. Renaming has its own hard limit too. Shopify's own reference confirms you can extend a title, but the carrier name Shopify prepends automatically can't be altered or removed through this API. When your condition doesn't match, return an empty operations list, exactly like step 5's flattened pattern. Never an error, never a panic. And that function handle only mutation only works this simply from API version 2025-10 onward. Earlier versions need a separate function ID lookup first. Pulling it together. Delivery customization functions don't calculate shipping prices, they hide, rename, or reorder delivery options. Shopify has already priced through profiles and carrier rates. One real CLI command scaffolds the whole extension, and its TOML files handle is the identifier everything downstream keys off of. The input query stays narrow on purpose, fetching only the delivery address and options a real decision needs. The Rust logic returns typed operations rename in today's example, but hide and move exist on the same enum for the same purpose. And a real delivery customization create mutation, pointed at your function handle, is the one step that turns all of that into something a customer actually sees at checkout. That's a complete delivery customization function, built from a single CLI command through to a live checkout. A real customer would see differently scaffolded, queried, coded, and wired live, using nothing but Shopify's own current tutorial source. Part 12 moves into cart and checkout extensibility more broadly, covering checkout UI extensions next. If you want the rest of this series as it publishes, subscribe now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 12.